So the next speaker then is Noel Willcox, who some of you will be aware runs a scaffolding company and has been involved in quite a protracted legal battle with TfL and the mayor. And I'd like him to say a few words about where he's reached in that and what we can learn from how we engage with TfL as an organisation, which isn't always the most friendly of bodies.
Hello ladies and gents, nice to see you all. I'm Noel Willcox, business scaffold owner. As you can see, I've got all my hair and my teeth, yeah? So don't be alarmed. Ladies and gents, this goes back to October 2021, where my company vehicle was driving through the low emission zone and it racked up, wait for it, £11,500 of fines, or penalty charge notices. These were 7 penalty charge notices. Each one was £1,500 each. So I get a telephone call from the girl in the office. No, we've got a huge bill here from Transport for London. I was like, what? Transport for London? Why do I owe them any money? I said, what's it for? Low emission zone. Right, okay. So she briefly explained to me what it was. Me, with the curiosity that I've got, went straight down to Hayes, had a look at these signs. What information do these signs give you? They don't really give you any, yeah? All it was an acronym of LEZ. So went back to the drawing boards, started doing a lot of studying, started reading about road traffic law, started reading the Department for Transport's authorisation for signage, and very quickly I realised something was quite sinister here. Okay, so what was sinister? These signs are not compliant with the legislation. I'm not going to go right into the legislation because it's very, very, very complex. So I've only got a short amount of time to give you an overview. So the adjudicator gave Transport for London 21 days to provide evidence that these signs were compliant with the legislation. 21 days, they never did it. So by default, the adjudicator ruled on my side by saying that this appeal was allowed. He also could not be satisfied that the LEZ was lawful. So he categorically stated no charge or penalty charge is payable. And he directed Transport for London, this was a direction, to refund all of my auto pay charges. Do you think Transport for London has repaid me? No. So they've completely gone against an adjudicator's decision. So the next process was, where do I go from here? Bearing in mind I'm doing this as a litigant in person, and I'll come to that point at the end. So what do I do? So I go to the small claims court. After a year-long battle with Transport for London, very aggressive, I must say, extremely aggressive, throwing lots of litigation at me, all sorts of things that I've never heard of in my life. I'm not a barrister, I'm not a lawyer, I've had to kind of really learn very, very fast. So, went to court on the 20th of March this year, and they were trying to fight it in court, and the judge, fair play to him, he turned around and said to Transport for London, I am not interested in anything that you've got to say to me. So I was like, wow, because you hear all these stories of two-tier justice, you hear all of these stories that nothing's going to go in the favour of the little man. So, slight technicality, because the adjudicator had adjudicated 7 penalty charge notices, and the judge, because it was a small claims court, he said, I don't know what happened to those signs afterwards. So when we were aware of the charging scheme, that's when I signed up to the auto pay charges. So it was after the last penalty charge notice. So it was a minor technicality, and the judge said to me, and it really did stick with me, he said, do you know what, Mr. Willcox? He said, if you've got the appetite for this, he said, keep going. And I thought, what does he mean by that? If you've got the appetite for this, keep going. The judge can clearly see that there's something very, very wrong here. Yeah, and he was an old school judge, he was very old school. So I thought, okay, that's interesting. Went back to the drawing board, where do I go from here? Okay, I need a court with a bigger jurisdiction. So, went to Central London County Court. for a declaration that ULEZ and the low emission zone is unlawful, because I've looked at the ULEZ signs as well. Now you probably say, but yeah, no, the ULEZ, you didn't lose on the ULEZ. No, I didn't, but I was forced to incur debt because I had to change my fleet of vehicles to Euro 6 vehicles, because I didn't want thousands upon thousands of fines coming to my yard. But I forgot a very interesting part here. After the adjudicator's decision, 6 months later, Transport for London sent their thugs to my yard to try and collect the 11.5 grand. Now, there was a lot of scaffolders in that yard. How do you think that worked out for them? It didn't work out too well for them because they were stopping them from earning money. Let me tell you that. So, roll on time. I was in court very recently on the 3rd of September in the Central London County Court. And of course, Transport for London had not stuck to any of the court's deadlines throughout all the proceedings. So I thought, this has surely got to go in my favour, because if you breach court orders, it's done and dusted. It's all one-way traffic. The judge isn't interested. No, I got into court. I clearly stated, Judge, Transport for London have breached all of these court orders along proceedings. The judge was not interested. So at this point, I thought, Now I'm going to leave you guys with a little thought here. Throughout proceedings, there was a High Court judge that had been dealing with all of my proceedings. The morning I got into court, a retired judge was brought in to hear my case. This was all one-way traffic that went against me. So if you guys were to say to me, is there two-tier justice? I would say absolutely there is two-tier justice, because the legal argument, and I've saved the best till last, the legal argument that Transport for London gave, and they had a barrister in the court, their legal counsel, so they had a lawyer and legal counsel with them as well. They said, Judge, if you grant this declaration, millions will have to be paid back, and you will cripple public services, and you will bankrupt Transport for London. So the judge took that all on board, and the judge said to me that this has to be by way of a judicial review. A judicial review, I'm not interested in judicial review. These signs are unlawful. It's a simple question. Do these signs comply with the law, yes or no? That's a simple question. The judicial review looks at the process. I have no interest in what the decision-making process was of a judicial review. So have I been snaked by the judiciary? Absolutely, 100%. I have been snaked by the judiciary. Now, this is going to turn into a pretty big legal battle. I'm sure that it's going to be. So I've appealed that judge's decision. It is going to probably, I would say, go to the Court of Appeal, which is where they're going to want to kick this. And the reason why they're going to want to do this is that I'm just a litigant in person. They are a massive corporation with legal resources. They have money. They have literally thrown money after money at this. Why do they want this to get into the Court of Appeal? Because probably when it goes to case management, costs will be something in the region of about £250,000. So that is the way that they're going to get rid of me. But I'm not going to go away, ladies and gents. I've got a 30-year military career, mental robustness. No matter what they throw at me, I will not stop. Because these signs are unlawful, and for me, they are scamming each and every motorist that is driving into London, and it's got to stop. Thank you very much.